What's up, YouTube viewers? Hi, it's me again, LaShawn Bridges. Thank you for watching my YouTube video as I discuss with you guys politics and the uprunning presidential candidates for the year 2020, the Democratic presidential candidates. Please continue to follow me. For those who have not followed me, follow me on YouTube every week as I discuss politics and our uprunning candidates for year 2020. Also, subscribe every week, and I will post 2 videos every week, and click on the bell. The bell will alert you guys every time I drop a video. Thank you again for watching me. Today I'm going to get into my topic of the day, which is about Joe Biden's 94 crime bill, in the year 94 crime bill. So it's been a lot of controversial, discussions going on about this bill. And so I am going to let you guys listen to a little bit about what Joe Biden says. He actually defends the 94 crime bill. And so I want you to hear what he says about the 94 crime bill, which has been a controversial subject lately. Okay, I'm going to pull up the video now, and please listen. Thank you.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill? Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, if you remember. I know that. And by the way, we talk about this mostly in terms of Black Lives Matter. Black lives really do matter.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. I don't know if you guys caught that, but he actually, in an interview, says that he actually drafted the bill. So he's aware that he did create this bill. Okay, and as the conversation goes, I'm going to let you hear about how he defends the bill and actually acts like that this bill was good for America. Okay, listen to this.
Which built confidence so that the woman, the African-American woman living in a corner alone where the drug deal's going down in front of her house, knows she literally used to have your phone number as a cop. She'd call you and say, "John, they're out in front of my house, but you're not giving me away, right, John?" No. And it didn't. So we had enormous success. Now what's happened is we've cut the funding 85%. We've gone out there and we're going through Baltimore now. Look at the areas we're going through here. I'll lay you 8 to 5. The Baltimore Police Department is considerably smaller than it was in 1985. There are things I would change. I opposed, for example, the carjacking provision that the administration wanted in. But by and large, what it really did, it restored American cities.
Hey, CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. I'm going to stop it right there. So as you hear what I hear, he's saying that it restored American cities, like as if this bill was doing more good for our country than bad, which the controversial subject about the bill has been that this 94 crime bill created more chaos in American cities and states because of the mass incarceration that it created amongst African Americans who were singled out and put in jail. And so I'm going to just, before I get into all that, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little description about the bill and what it was about, and then go into details as far as in what this bill did. Okay. So let's start with when Joe Biden, he became chairman of the Senate Judiciary team in 1987. Okay. He was aimed to introduce a legislation that was supposed to help in reducing crime. But in 1981, Biden passed 2 bills, according to New York Times. These bills established mandatory minimums for drug offenses. And then in 1996, the Violent Crime Control Act was a bill signed by President Bill Clinton. Okay, this bill touched nearly every aspect of American law enforcement. This bill was behind the era of mass incarceration. Okay, so there you go, guys. A representative that represented Mr. Biden opposed elements of the law, such as 3 strike measures, that he did not think would function as their proponents intended. Then eventually, President Bill Clinton admitted that the crime bill went too far in toughening sentences. So as you see, President Bill Clinton, he actually came forward later on and admitted that these crime bills were not reasonable and that they were too tough, This law was after the fact. Clinton at first admitted to the NAACP that this supposedly one of his greatest accomplishments, okay? And quote, I signed a bill that made the problem worse. You guys hear that? Clinton admitted, he said, I signed a bill that made the problem worse. So not good, like the statement we just heard that Biden, said in the video. He actually, Clinton said that he feels that it was worse, okay? Unlike what Biden said about being good. On an interview with Time magazine in 2014, Biden states, quote, I am not the only guy who did the crime bill and on the drugs czar, but I'm also the guy who spent years when I was chairman on the Judiciary Committee and chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee trying to change drug policy relative to cocaine, for example, crack, and powder. Okay, now let's look at the three strikes provision. It gave mandatory life sentences for people with 2 or more convictions found. Okay, and then in 1994, this same crime bill produced billions of dollars, creating more police officers on the streets, more prisons increased, and border protection. Okay, it also, according to CNN.com, was one of the largest bills passed, including a ban on 18 different types of assault rifles for the next decade. Wow. It also included several measures, including the Violence Against Women's Act and a federal ban on assault rifles. It also, according to New York Times, eliminated Pell Grants for prison inmates, criminalized gang membership, contained 9.7 billion in funding for new prisons, and of course, we had three strikes provision, in which I like to call the three strikes and you're out. Okay. Today, about 2.2 million Americans are locked up in federal, state prisons, and local jails. 2.2 million, guys. Many of these inmates are minorities, especially black males. In 2007, Mr. Biden tried to introduce new legislation. He offered another bill that aimed to confront systematic inequalities. So as you see, 2007, Mr. Biden started thinking over this bill and the effects that it had on minorities. So he tried to make it right again by creating systematic, a bill that would help create systematic inequalities and address those inequalities. Okay. Neither measure passed, but through another bill, he provided resources to give former offenders a chance to re-enter back into their communities. So he tried to write the bill as far as in coming up with a new idea, another bill to help, build better communities and whatever. But today, Joe Biden, according to CNN.com, claims that the 94 crime bill did not cause mass incarceration, and it definitely separated a lot of families in the black community. So again, Joe Biden, I don't understand why you think that this bill was any good when it clearly states that this bill had a huge impact on the minorities, African Americans, predominantly in black African American communities. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to vote for someone like Joe Biden, who can't be trusted. First, in the 70s, he opposes busing, which will bring black people and white people together. Then in the 90s, he's overwriting the 94 crime bill, which was signed by President Clinton. Then he tries to say that the 94 crime bill was good for America in his video that I just played back, and that is not true. So can we really trust what he says? I mean, I don't think so. When we clearly know that it broke up many African American families, and created many people to look at it like, okay, there's a lot of minorities being locked up here. So what are you saying, Joe? There's proven records that I found out that 6% of black males ages 30 to 39 are in prison, according to New York Times, compared to the 2% Hispanic males and compared to the 1% of white males. So as you see, it clearly shows in records that African Americans, it's a huge percent of them being locked up more than any other race out there. The 94 crime bill was not the only reason for the mass incarceration. Of course, there were other bills before this, such as the 70 state laws like the 1970 Rockefeller drugs laws. And there were other long, bills that came out, that was way before the 94 crime bill. But the 94 crime bill did also have a huge impact on the African American communities, So once again, I don't know if we can trust what Joe Biden is saying about, how he dresses it up and act like that this 94 crime bill was doing more good when it wasn't. Andrew Yang, is my presidential candidate of choice, and he has created a policy to reduce mass incarceration. This policy will reduce mandatory minimum laws, shift federal drug policies, in the use of nonprofit private prisons, and push for reconsideration for our felony laws. And I think that is great. I feel that this would definitely improve the many African American families, that have been broken up, hopefully, or try to, reconcile a lot of issues that we've had on, the mass incarceration of singling out African American black males and women and putting them in jail for, long periods of time for, that is ridiculous. So um, many of these strict laws that result in mass incarceration, hopefully we will see a change, a huge change that will see a lot of African Americans, not being incarcerated and not being singled out and not being locked up the way they have been singled out for years now. So continue to watch me as I continue to follow the candidates and give you guys the new scoop as I see it. And don't forget to subscribe to my station, YouTube, LaShawn Bridges. Okay, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And don't forget to click the bell so you can get further notifications of future videos as I get them and as I bring it to your attention. All right, thank you. Goodbye.